That robot dog running alongside Chinese soldiers with a rifle mounted on its back costs less than $3,000. You can buy one on Amazon. The same model, same hardware, no modifications. The People's Liberation Army took a consumer product, bolted a weapon to it, and walked it into a joint military exercise in front of international media. That was not an accident. It was a message. China has been quietly building a robot army for years, not in secret labs, in plain sight, using civilian technology, civilian companies, and a strategy that has given them capabilities the rest of the world is still trying to understand. Today we are going inside that strategy. The machines that are already deployed, the systems that are already operational, and what comes next. To understand how China built a robot army, you need to understand one policy: military-civil fusion. The core idea is simple. Every technology developed by Chinese civilian companies, robotics, AI, drones, batteries, is simultaneously available to the People's Liberation Army. There is no separation, no legal firewall, no opt-out. When Unitree Robotics founder Wang Xingxing shook hands with Xi Jinping at a state meeting in February 2025, standing next to Huawei's CEO, that image told you everything about how this works. Civilian innovation and military power are the same project. Unitree publicly states it does not sell products to the military, but procurement records, official documents, and state media footage tell a more complicated story. The PLA has acquired Unitree robots through military-linked universities, institutions that hold classified defense licenses and appear on U.S. export control lists. The Unitree logo is clearly visible in PLA exercise footage. The military-civil fusion strategy means the line between consumer product and weapon system is whatever Beijing decides it is. The Unitree Go 2 Pro retails for approximately $3,000. The QBZ-95 assault rifle mounted on its back costs around $450. A four-legged autonomous robot that can run at 9 miles per hour, navigate complex terrain, and fire at a designated target costs less than $3,500. For context, the U.S. military's equivalent Ghost Robotics platform costs over $150,000. China's version costs $3,500. That gap is not a technology gap. It is a manufacturing and supply chain gap, the same gap that made Chinese EVs and Chinese humanoid robots the dominant force in their markets. The PLA first showcased gun-mounted robot dogs during joint military exercises in Cambodia in 2024. By 2025, the footage had evolved. Chinese soldiers were running alongside robot dogs in domestic training exercises, integrated, tactical, coordinated, not a proof of concept anymore, a training doctrine. In April 2025, China's military released a propaganda video titled, "The Robot Dogs, Time to Kill Has Come." It opened with a four-legged robot sprinting across a training ground, rifle-mounted, firing at a target with precision. The Unitree logo was visible in the close-up. The message was deliberate. This is not experimental. This is operational. The PLA has identified 4 primary roles for robot dogs on the battlefield: reconnaissance, mapping terrain and identifying targets ahead of human soldiers; logistics, carrying ammunition, medical supplies, and equipment, reducing the 68-pound average load a soldier carries; fire support, mounted weapons providing suppressive fire; and urban warfare, clearing buildings in environments where sending human soldiers is most dangerous. In Taiwan scenarios specifically, military analysts have noted that robot dogs would be ideal for securing the densely populated urban areas of the island's northwest coast. In January 2026, units of the People's Liberation Army under the Eastern Theater Command, the command responsible for any military action against Taiwan, deployed the ZARY-222 tracked unmanned fire support vehicle in live exercises. The ZRY-222 is not a consumer product with a rifle bolted on. It is a purpose-built weapons platform. It weighs 1.2 tons. It carries 4 guided rockets and a 7.6 2mm gun. It is fast enough to accompany advancing ground forces, and it is controlled remotely from a modified Mengshi off-road vehicle fitted with a dedicated control console, meaning the operator stays out of the line of fire entirely. The ZRY-222 was first unveiled in September 2025 and was deployed in live exercises within 4 months. In Chinese military development terms, that is an extraordinarily short timeline from debut to deployment. It signals that the ZRY-222 was not a new concept when it was unveiled. It was a system that had already been tested and refined. The public reveal was the announcement of a capability that already existed. The Eastern Theater Command's choice to exercise the ZRY-222 is not accidental. This is the command that would lead any military operation across the Taiwan Strait. The deployment of tracked combat robots in that specific command's exercises is a signal to Taiwan, to the United States, and to every military analyst watching that unmanned ground combat systems are part of the PLA's actual operational planning, not future planning, current planning. China's military labs have developed autonomous drone swarm systems designated Swarm 1 and Swarm 2. Each system can launch hundreds of drones operating under a single mission objective. The key capability that makes these systems genuinely frightening is this: they continue operating autonomously even when communications are jammed. Traditional drone warfare requires a communication link between the operator and the drone. Jam the signal, stop the drone. China's swarms do not need that link. Once launched, they coordinate with each other, using onboard AI to identify targets, adapt to countermeasures, and complete their mission without any human input. The AI driving these systems was trained on something unexpected: the behavior of apex predators. Researchers at Chinese military-linked universities studied the hunting patterns of hawks, wolves, and coyotes, how they identify weak targets, how they evade stronger threats, how they coordinate a pack attack, and encoded those behaviors into the drone AI. The result is a swarm that hunts. China's dominance in commercial drone manufacturing makes this capability almost impossible to counter through supply chain restrictions. China controls approximately 90% of the global consumer drone market. Both sides in the Ukraine conflict depend on Chinese drone components. Russia purchases Chinese attack drones wholesale. Ukraine, despite domestic production being a strategic priority, sources nearly 90% of its drone components from China. Even the United States, which launched its Blue UAS program specifically to create non-Chinese drone supply chains, still largely relies on Chinese manufactured engines for its military UAVs. The hardware advantage that enables China's military swarms is the same advantage that makes DJI the world's dominant drone company. These are not separate ecosystems. They are the same one. In November 2025, at the 12th International Army Cadet Week hosted by the PLA Engineering University, China demonstrated a combat robot unlike anything seen before. A human soldier put on a lightweight motion-sensing suit. Every movement he made, every punch, every defensive maneuver, every tactical step was replicated by the robot standing across from him in real time, instantly, with imperceptible latency. The system was immediately compared to Real Steel, the 2011 film where robots fight by mirroring human movements. The comparison was apt. China had built exactly that. Military representatives from 13 countries watched the demonstration. The message to those 13 delegations was clear: China is not developing these systems for the future. China is demonstrating them to allies and potential customers right now. The same event featured mine-clearing robots using visual recognition combined with metal detectors, and bomb disposal robots controlled entirely by voice commands. The PLA was not showing one system. It was showing a portfolio, a full suite of autonomous military capabilities across multiple categories, designed to demonstrate that China's military robotics program has breadth, not just individual impressive systems. Defense analyst Francis Tusa, one of the most closely watched voices on autonomous weapons development, said he would be surprised if we do not see autonomous machines from China within 2 years. He said that in 2024. We are now in 2026. In February 2026, China's state-owned defense giant Norinco unveiled the P-60, an autonomous military vehicle capable of conducting combat support operations at 50 kilometers per hour. The P-60 is powered by DeepSeek, the same AI model that shocked the global tech industry when it was released publicly in January 2025 and matched the performance of models costing 10 times more to develop. DeepSeek-related procurement notices on the PLE procurement network have been accelerating throughout 2025 and into 2026. New military applications are appearing regularly. The integration is moving fast for a specific reason. DeepSeek fits China's military doctrine of algorithmic sovereignty, reducing dependence on Western technology while building domestic AI infrastructure that cannot be sanctioned or cut off. The P-60's release was publicly celebrated by Communist Party officials as an early showcase of how DeepSeek and AI are being used to close the gap with the United States in the autonomous weapons race. They were not being modest. The gap is closing. A Reuters review of hundreds of research papers, patents, and procurement records revealed the systematic scale of China's effort to harness AI for military advantage. PLA-affiliated researchers are developing technology to rapidly identify targets from satellite imagery while coordinating with radars and aircraft to execute operations. They are building systems that process battlefield data and make tactical decisions in real time. And they are doing it using the same civilian AI infrastructure, the same companies, the same chips, the same research pipelines that power China's commercial tech sector. The wall between civilian AI and military AI in China does not exist. Everything we have shown you in this video, the robot dogs, the ZRY-222, The drone swarms, the motion-controlled combat robots, the DeepSeek-powered autonomous vehicles, these are the systems China has already shown the world, deliberately, in state media, in front of foreign military delegations, in exercises documented on official PLA channels. What China has not shown the world is everything being developed behind closed doors. Defense experts estimate China is developing autonomous weapon systems at 4 to 5 times the speed of the United States. The prediction from multiple analysts, fully autonomous weapon systems, machines that can identify, decide, and engage without any human in the loop, could be operational in China within the next 2 years. The international community has been debating regulation of autonomous weapons for over a decade. In 2023, a U.S. representative at a UN conference on lethal autonomous weapons said it was, quote, not the right time to begin legislating against their development. China, at the same conferences, has called for restraints on autonomous weapons. Meanwhile, outside those conference rooms, both nations are developing them as fast as they can. The era of robot soldiers is not coming. According to the footage, the procurement records, and the live demonstrations, it is already here. The question is not whether machines will fight the next war. The question is whether anyone is ready for what that actually means. Robot dogs for $3,500, combat robots with guided rockets, drone swarms that hunt, a Terminator that mirrors human movements, and DeepSeek running the whole thing. Which one concerns you most? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want to see the robots that aren't weapons but are still the most dangerous machines China has ever built, that video is right here.